Welcome to Being Extraordinary with Akasha Awaken. Here we awaken the Akash to the non-physical reality that stores ancient wisdom and magic for us all. This podcast is dedicated to the stories, the knowledge, and the people who have found a way to tap into this knowledge and bring it into our physical reality, fully allowing themselves to embrace our true and extraordinary nature, and hopefully inspiring you to do the same. Okay, welcome back everyone. Today I'm here with a very special guest, Des from the S2DIO.
Ooh.
And we've been connected probably since this thing started. I think I was in your first ever spin class. And I love your story because you basically did the same thing that I did. There has to be something fucking more than what I have going on. I'm passionate about something else. How can we make this work? So we would love to hear your story. When did you hear the call, and how did you decide to go for it?
So I'll try not to ramble on too much here, but let's backtrack life. So out of high school, I went to cooking school. Loved cooking, total passion, still is a total passion. Do it all the time. Anyone who follows me on social media will know how much I love to cook and experiment and blah, 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 blah. Cooked professionally for a handful of years. Realized or thought at the time, want more money. Need to chase something that will give me more financial freedom. As anyone knows who knows cooks or chefs, you do 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you don't make that much money. So at the time, I wanted kids, I wanted a family, blah, blah, blah. Didn't want to do that. Decided to get into corrections. There's a big flip.
It's total 180.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Saskatoon. Applied for corrections, moved to PA. Me and my husband moved out to PA, got my corrections diploma, went on to get a degree in justice.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Oh yes.
You really went for it.
Oh yes, I really went for it. And I really like studying human behavior, which we can talk about later on how much that's actually helped me in this current business. Yes. So worked with women offenders for a few years, got sick of working with women, too emotional, too crazy for me. Transferred to Saskatoon, correctional, worked with men there for a few years, and then got on with Sask Pen, winded up back in Prince Albert at Sask Pen. So did corrections for just shy of 6 years. But here's the catch. When we moved back to Saskatoon, when I went to go work at Saskatoon Correctional, a friend of a friend of a friend was opening a spin studio, and my bestie said, "You love spin, this is so-and-so's friend of a friend, you should totally go, they're looking for instructors, they're gonna be opening here in a few months." So went in, found teaching spin, fell in love with it, became my safe haven. As a correctional officer, you really need an outlet. Like, it's a shitty job, let's just be fucking real about that, right? It's a shitty job, right? Like, great pension, great benefits, great pay, shitty fucking job. So started teaching there. And then when I got on with Sask Pen, we moved back to PA, and I was actually commuting back to Saskatoon to teach because I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to let it
absolutely.
go. Yeah, it was too good, so I'd go back on weekends. And then it kind of hit me like, okay, there's no studio in PA. Is that my time? Like, is this my job to open up the studio? And I thought, no, okay, no, there's not one in PA. There's a reason. So no, let it go, Des. It's a pipe dream. Get that shit out of your head. And then I couldn't let it go. And it was like, oh, maybe I should. Like, maybe I should do it. I had no money whatsoever. Broke as hell. For those who don't know, training for Sask Pen is unpaid. And it's 3 months at the Regina RCMP depot. So by the time you resign from your job, start this training and get on with the pen, I ended up going 6 months with zero paycheck.
Right.
Like, none. So now I'm in PA, I have this pipe dream, I have negative dollars to my name. And it's just like, holy fuck. Even my husband was like, Des, you don't have any money. You can't do this. Not that he said I couldn't do it, but he said, you need to make money first. You need to put money in your bank and then follow your dream.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Took a step back. Nope, couldn't let it go. Finally, I made a deal with myself. Okay, Des, you either do it, you find money and buy some bikes and try, or let it fucking go and don't think about it again. And so I sat there and, I pondered for a couple days, and I said, no, I got to do it. I got to take a chance. I got to do it. Drained my savings, my few pennies that I had, Ended up, okay, you know, Kayla, you always talk about like, once you make the decision, things start to fall into place. Yep. Well, holy fuck, like, found this deal on bikes out in Ontario, took a real risk, drained my savings, and bought these fucking spin bikes I had never seen, I had never sat on, I had never whatever, and I just thought, yeah, and the guy I was dealing with was really, really, really good. And then my dad actually ended up calling me and going, hey, I've been paying into this life insurance since the day you were born. I don't want to fucking pay into it anymore. Either you can take over the $20 a month payment, he's like, or you can cash it out. Oh my God. I said, holy fuck, well, how much is in there? And there's a chunk to help me, you know, pay for some bikes. Holy fuck, I'm pulling it out. So talk about things falling into place, right? Yeah. Drain the savings, use that money, bought some bikes. Yeah, and then bought 18 bikes and just started. Plunked in at the Dance Warehouse in 2018. July of 2018, I was in the Dance Warehouse for July and August. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. For those who don't know, so I was at a studio in Saskatoon, but each studio has their own method in the way they do things. Well, legally, I had signed a contract that like I can't take anything from the previous studio I was at, because that's theirs. That's their what's what I'm looking for? Like, it's confidentiality. Like, that's their property. You know what I mean?
Intellectual property.
Intellectual property. There we go. Yeah. So, started, had no clue what I was doing, started calling insurance companies and being like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is what I want to do. Started creating my own method. Moved into East End Rink in September of 2018.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that chunk.
Yeah, a little month there. And then it just hit the point where it's like, holy fuck, this is gonna go. So built the first brick and mortar space over on 15th by Tigger's. Ended up taking a 1-year leave, so I had 9 months in at SaskPen at the time. I applied for a 1-year leave so I could see how this was gonna go. We outgrew the space about 4 months in. I was getting ripped apart from customers. Well, I can't even get into classes. This is fucking bullshit. Like, there's no room. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, sorry, we're too good. Like, I don't, you know, but then you're like trying to appease your customers and all this stuff. So then we were only, 9 months again. That's weird. I didn't ever notice that. I was at SaskPen for 9 months and we were at the Tigger's location for 9 months. You know what's crazy?
I tell people it takes 9 months to get what you want.
Oh my God! Yeah. That's crazy.
That is fucking crazy.
This is fucking crazy. Yeah. So yes, then we outgrew that space. I had to make a call of either like stay there and just be okay with what it was, or leave that space, which anyone who's opened a business or has built anything knows building is not fucking cheap. So like, for example, the flooring that I had put in that space alone was almost 10 grand. Well, 9 months later, I had to walk away from that.
Ouch.
But it was a choice. You know, you gotta spend money to make money, they say. Yeah. So built the second location, which was 3 times bigger than the first one, which we are in now and still in. We moved, and 6 months later, we got shut down. We got shut down with COVID. So, you know, right from the beginning, it's just, I've always kind of been behind, but like also ahead, I guess, if that makes sense, you know, financially behind, mentally ahead of everything else, I guess. So that's kind of the backstory of how the studio was born. When we moved into the location we're in now, my 1-year leave was coming up, so I had to make a decision. Like, I knew I wasn't going back, for the record. Like, I wasn't going back to corrections. I knew that. Everyone here knew that. My husband knew that. I'm sure SaskPen fucking knew that. You know what I mean? Like, but it was funny. I remember it perfectly. I was standing in this lobby, so I had to resign. Okay, but that's your safety net, right? Like, at any time in the first year, if this wasn't gonna work, file bankruptcy, go back to work. Like, I could have canceled my leave at any time, gone back and had, you know, a $60,000, $70,000 a year job the next day. So I typed up the resignation email to the warden and I saved it as a draft and I couldn't hit send. And I knew I wasn't going back, but like that big leap of like literally taking away your safety net was so, 3 or 4 times I opened it up, read it, exited out, opened it up, read it, exited out, finally hit send, and then it was like, I could have barfed, like, it was just crazy, like, I could have literally barfed on the floor, but then it was like, okay, this has to work, this has to work, your safety net is now gone, so this has to work, you have to do the work to get it to work.
Yeah.
And yeah, then COVID hit. Fuck. You know, so we had, 18 months maybe, as a business, and anybody who's opened up a business, if any other entrepreneurs are out there, you know, the first 5 years are hard. Like you don't make money. You're building, you're marketing, you're this and that. So we only had 18 months in and everything got shut down. So that was real.
And how long were you shut down for?
Oh my God. Okay, so from March 17th of 2020, that's when we got shut down, until March 17th of 2021. So that's 52 weeks. We were shut down for 38 of them. And for the record, we continued to be shut down, but then it got a little bit dodgy, open and closed, and you know what I mean? But yes, in 52 calendar weeks, we were fucking shut down for 38 of them.
That's insane.
Yes.
And you guys switched to online programming.
Yes.
And how was that?
So, when we first got shut down, I will be honest, I was pretty fucked up for a few days.
For sure.
And like there was the bottoms of many bottles that were had over those few days.
Isn't that
of
what
like
everyone did during COVID?
Fuck, like for real. It was just like, you know, year and a half in, I had just left my fucking safety net.
And poured your heart and soul into every inch of this business.
Every inch of this business, like we were just starting to take off. You know, I've said it for 4 years now. I've said, we're just getting started, we're just getting started, we're just getting started. And everything was just ripped from me. Everything was just gone. In a matter of one government announcement, everything was gone. So yes, as many people did, you know, you go through that little depressed whatever. So for about a week, I just wallowed in my own self-pity of poor me, you know, and like everyone struggled, right? You know, whatever. And then finally hit the point where it's like, okay, put your big girl fucking pants on. It's time to make a decision. Yes. Like, are you gonna persevere through this, or are you just gonna give up and let it be done? So it's what I did. I sat back for a little bit, because of course every studio, everyone in fitness went through this probably same reaction. So I sat back and I watched what other studios did first, because I thought, okay, how is everyone else going to play this? Started watching what they were doing with their social media, started, you know, just taking in, making notes. I took what I liked from other places. I wrote down what I didn't like from other places, and I created basically a new business plan in my head to launch virtually. Now, with that came a lot of other fucking hurdles, because, for example, it seems so easy. We'll just do Instagram Live and run classes. Well, you fucking can't, because we use music, and music is copywritten. So is what would happen, they would mute you or they would silence you, so then people couldn't do your class because you were being fucking muted. So all this other shit happened. I know, like it was just one hurdle after another. So yes, then we launched on Twitch for a little bit to live stream 1 class a day, did that for a little bit, and then we launched On Demand, which basically was an online portal, much like Netflix, I guess you could say, but it was studio. You'd log in and there'd be a bank of videos you could do, which again, a lot of other hurdles, you know, when it comes to sound and recording and light and this and that and editing. Do you think I'd ever edited a fucking video in my life?
It's
no.
Such a learning curve too.
Oh my God. So luckily for me, I had a lot of people in my corner that I could call on to be like, can you teach me? Can you do this? Because I do everything here, and including in COVID, I did all of it. Like,
oh my God,
yeah, so it was pretty fucking wild, I'll tell you that much. Made it through that somehow. Still to this day, I'm like, holy fuck, what even happened? And then we got back open, and then we could only have 8 bikes. Well, we had 20 in there, but we had to be 3 fucking meters apart when they first opened it, in masks, in a spin class. Like, it's just so crazy, so crazy. So again, adapted, pivoted, dodged this, blah, blah, blah. You know, fast forward 2 years, we're out of it now. We're here, we survived, which is a lot more than a lot of other fitness places specifically can say, specifically in PA, let alone across the country. Yeah. Like a lot of places shut down. I made several social media posts about how fucking stupid it was that you would shut down fitness. And for the record, I understand from a COVID standpoint, transmission, like I understand where they were coming from, but healthy people get sick less.
Yeah.
Fitness keeps people healthy.
And not to mention like mental health. Like
1,000%.
went crazy.
Yes.
I can't even believe
yes.
some of the things that happened because I was like literally losing it because you don't have that outlet. And like people need that outlet.
Yes. And that was one of the big things on one of my posts that I said here specifically in PA, we have a ton of cops, corrections, nurses, doctors. That is the majority of our clientele here. Yeah. They all continue to work. Their mental health deteriorated so fucking fast. Oh. And so many people came forward and were like, Des, I don't know what to do. You are my mental health outlet and now you're closed and da-da-da-da-da. So very much so, like, mental and physical, but like mentally people really struggled. And everyone did, right? Everyone did. I wrote every politician in government letters and emails, like, and a lot of people actually don't know this. This is actually the first time I'm kind of saying it out loud. Like, I fought tooth and nail behind the scenes to everyone. Like, you know, I post a lot on social media, but a lot of the shit behind, you know, I typed up like an 8-page letter and was like, here are scientific proven facts that fitness keeps people healthy, that keeps people mentally sane, it keeps people this. You're shutting me down and you're taking away the one thing that people need the most right now. And you know, I can understand shutting down restaurants and this and that, and no shade to people who own restaurants because, you know, it's still shitty. But like fitness, we are the front line to the front line. And I started saying that in COVID, and I will continue to say that forever because, you know, heart disease, obesity, knee replacement and hip replacement are the top 4 things that plug up our healthcare system. By getting active and moving, you can combat all 4 of those things like that. So it made zero fucking sense on why they would have targeted fitness so hard to shut them down. And I mean, any conspiracy theorist can, just you know, we could talk for hours just on that bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, about, you know, why, you know, sick people and healthy people and yada yada yada. But yes, so yes, it's been wild navigating COVID and everything. But knock on wood, we survived. Yeah,
and this is what happens when it's out of the heart, you know. And I honestly feel like you're the epitome of like, if you fucking love it enough and you care, it will work out. Because for those people who aren't in Prince Albert, which is our hometown, it's a small community.
Yep.
People really keep to themselves. And it doesn't have that, like, you created something completely unique for this whole town.
Yes.
Like, and if you know spin studios, sometimes they can be like a little pretentious, you know?
Yep.
This place is not like that at all. You've created something so unique because it's yours. And then guess what? It keeps going despite all odds.
Yes.
And I can't say I know this for sure, but like, you are going to be somewhere great making it through all of this.
I hope so.
Like, I talk about too, like the initiation phase. You know, and actually the episode before this one, we talked about like how the caterpillar goes into a butterfly and it literally like digests itself. It destroys itself. It takes everything, turns it into the superpower and sets itself free. And like, that can be the only thing waiting for you.
I fucking hope so.
Do you have like huge dreams to just go big?
Yes, it's I won't go into too much detail right now because
they're
obviously, you know, they're my dreams.
So keep nurturing them.
I was just talking to one of my instructors an hour ago before you got here, and I had in the last month, I have really taken a step backwards and just looked at this empire that I have created and am creating.
Yeah.
And you know, we just celebrated 4 years for those who don't know. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, last week. So freaking crazy. But now it's hitting that weird point where it's like, okay, do I stay the course? Am I happy with the way it is? Is this how we want to stay? Do I want to grow? Do I want to do this? Do I want to introduce new things? Blah, blah, blah. And anybody who's listening who knows me knows that I will never be satisfied with staying the course. I will forever adapt and grow and push and this and that and whatever. So yes, I have set some very, very large goals for myself in the next 5-6 years that I never thought in a million years that I would even consider thinking. You know what I mean? Like, one thing, I would love to buy my own building one of these days. Like, oh my God, 5 years ago, I was rotting at Saspen. Fuck, you know what I mean? And now I'm talking about buying a building, which is going to be $1 million, $2 million bucks. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking crazy. Yes. Again, financially, there's no way in hell that's happening anytime soon. But that, you know,
weird things happen.
Weird things happen.
Seeds are planted, weird things happen.
Exactly. So, you know, this business has also, and doing this business has also, on a personal level, I am not who I was 5 years ago. And I mean that in a good way. Like, and, you know, we always talk about old self and new self and this and that. And there was nothing wrong with my old self. There was nothing wrong with my old self. Yeah. You know, we always talk about, me and my husband, your past made you who you are today, right? So like, I was bullied extremely bad in high school, for example. You know, went on this career fucking change every couple of years, Old me didn't know her head from a hole in the ground, and this and that. And now this weird new growth that it can't be explained, and you know this better than any. And you know, and a lot of it is to do with, you know, I'm friends with you, and I'm friends with a couple other gals who are in the same sort of, you know, spacey, spiritual, fucking hippie bullshit, right? And I mean that with all due respect, right? You know, seeing and listening, and you know, 5 years ago I would have been like, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Don't tell me my soul is fucking in the stars. Are you crazy? You crazy hippie. You know? But now here I am, and I'm like, well, it's a full moon. We better think about what I want in life. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, it's just crazy the amount of personal growth that I've gone through. And if I'm gonna grow this business, then I had to grow myself. And my husband can tell you, I am the hardest working person you'll ever meet. I do 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day. Anybody who knows, who messages the studio, it's me that answers, and I will answer immediately. Like I strongly believe in customer service, and we waitress together, right, back in the day. So you know, it's just ingrained that you treat your customers as your kings and queens, you know what I mean? So yeah, personally, sky's the limit. Business, sky's the limit. Like, here we are with this inflation, recession, economy, fucking who knows what's coming tomorrow. I am very much a planner, like very much a planner. And this, honestly, COVID taught me to slow the fuck down. You cannot be in control of everything, so stop trying to control everything. So, you know, we can say COVID is bullshit, and those 2 years were bullshit and garbage, and we hated them, and fuck those 2 years, and Honest to God, I learned more about myself in those 2 fucking years than I have in the 32 years previous of my life, right?
I agree with that.
You know, it's one of those things, your cup's half full, however you want to fucking look at it. But yes, any other business owner will know that if you're going to put your pride, joy, passion into something and you want it to grow, then you need to grow, right?
Yes.
So
expansion equals expansion.
100%.
Like, everything that you choose to do within you is mirrored in the external.
100%.
And speaking of COVID and you can't control, like, something that I've really been working on, because I'm a control freak, love to control things. You know, it's like you see an obstacle or hurdle, which has been what our entire last 3 years has been, if not our whole lives. And you want to just like, why does this have to be here? And you want to just crush it and like be mad about it. But I've really been working on this personally, and it's always like, what is this teaching me?
Totally.
Because if you can inspect that obstacle and really get into it, you're like, there's a lesson here, and if I can figure it out, I grow. My business grows, my mind grows, my community grows.
Totally.
So now I'm trying, I've not a perfect thing, but I'm just like, okay, what is this teaching me, and how can I be creative in how I approach it? And look at it as something, because honestly, like, I want to be wise. I want to share information. I have big lofty dreams too. And it's like, you can only be that person if you can figure out these hurdles that other people can't get past. And then guess what? You get to be the person that's like, hey, this is how you get past it.
Totally. And I think that's a really good point that you said, that like, you're not perfect, and I'm not either. And again, yes, over the last couple of years, you know, becoming less reactive and more of like, taking a step back. Okay, what the fuck can I learn from this? You know, blah, blah, blah. And it's very hard, right? And old habits are hard to break. But it is, and being able to, like you said, then tell the next person of like, hey man, I went through this exact same shit. This is what I did, and it worked for me.
And isn't it oddly also what you built your business on in some way? Like the struggles you had when you were a teenager, That's what you're helping people through now, don't you think?
Totally. 100%.
And that's, you know, my business is obviously way different, but that's exactly what I'm doing too. Like when I was a kid, I didn't understand anything, and I was very resentful for being alive. Yes. I used to be like, I can't believe my fucking parents had the audacity to bring life into this planet.
Fuckers!
Bring life to me when the world has, there's no options. There's no place to go. You just go to work, you grind, you sell your soul, you rot, and then you hope to retire.
Yes.
But usually you're sick, and you can't.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't want that.
Yes.
And then guess what I found? You know, this place where I'm like, hey, there's something more. Totally. We got to figure this out. We don't have to do that.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, so when you see those obstacles, instead of being angry about them, like, guess what? That's the next phase of people that you're going to help.
Totally. And it, you know what? Great point of like, you grow up and you grind and then you die. You know, I've been with my husband for 14 years. Lucky guy. Poor Lindy.
Right.
And you know what? Growing up, you know, I did the sports, I did the this, and you know, lived a pretty average life, I would say. You know, blue collar kid, whatever. But yes, it was, you went to post-secondary, you found love, you got married, you bought a house, you had kids, you grinded for 30 years, you retired, and now you're dead 5 years later because you've done nothing else with your life, blah, blah, blah,
You're
blah,
exhausted.
blah. You're exhausted. And so I always wanted kids. I wanted 2 kids. I have a brother, you know, it was me and my brother. Always wanted 2 kids. I told Lindy that right from the hop, like, we're having kids, blah, blah, blah. Actually, funny story real quick. Right before our wedding, he dropped a ball and said, I don't want kids. And I said, well, you know that I do.
And we're getting married.
Yes, like, what the fuck, man? And was like, well, this is a fucking deal breaker, man. Like, oh my God, I always knew he was on the fence. He always knew I wanted them. And, you know, it's just one of those conversations that I guess you always just kind of hope that they'll come around, right?
For sure.
Whatever, long story short, we're still together. He agreed that, listen, if kids is what you want, let's do it together, and blah, blah, blah. And his big thing was, just didn't want to bring kids because the world's fucked, right? The world is a fucked up place, like you just said. So he's like, why would I want to bring a human being into this garbage? Funny story, about 3 years ago, it was just before COVID, so maybe 4. No, because studio's been 4, so about 3. I realized I didn't want kids anymore because I had studio. And studio is my it. This was my it. So very shamefully, with my tail between my legs, I said, remember that time I almost left you because you said you didn't want kids? I don't think I want kids anymore. This was 1 month after I came off birth control. And he again, poor Lindy, like 14 years he's dealt with this shit. And he was just like, are you fucking kidding me, Des? Do you know how much hell you put me through back in the day? And I like apologized 100 times. But I looked back on it and I wanted kids because that's what I thought you did. You grow up, go to elementary school, then you go to high school, then you go to post-secondary, then you leave, you get a career, you fall in love, you buy a house, you pop out some kids, you do your career, and then there's your life. It's all mapped out for us. And for the record, there's nothing wrong with that because societal standards is what makes the world go round. It's just now I realize that there's other options that if you do choose to go this path, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And now here we are a few years later, I am so okay with the decision of not having kids. I'm 34, and now like the thought of having kids, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do any of the shit that my friends are doing. And you know, I'm cool Auntie Des now, so when I'm done playing with the kids, I can give them back. My mom was a little bit upset, but I said to her, because she said, and you know, this is a very good point from my mom. She said, you're such a good human with strong morals and strong values. And she's like, I just feel like for you guys to make kids and instill them into a generation is what you should do.
But you're doing it for a whole fucking community, Des.
And that was my rebuttal, was, hey, but Mom, I have 100 people walking through the door every day that I'm instilling these values, morals, beliefs, and dreams into, that my reach is so much further without kids, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you know, you talk a lot about that, of like, you will end up exactly where you will need to end up when you're supposed to end up there. And in my heart and my soul and my bones and my brain and every inch and every cell in my body believes that I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And you know what? It all led to this. It all leads to it. Bullied in high school, grew a tough skin, fucking had to go through that self-hatred phase and this and that, came out of it, went through a weight loss journey in a very unhealthy way, learned from that, met Lindy. I wasn't getting married. Like, my dad's on wife number 5. My mom's on number 3. I had no faith in love whatsoever. Then this prick Lindy comes out of the woodwork. I fall head over heels for this guy. Blah, 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 blah. All this shit. We end up in fucking PA of all places. I'd never even been here before.
And it's not for everybody. This town's really weird.
No, it totally. So I end up here with corrections and then end up back in Saskatoon, where I found Spin. We couldn't sell our house in PA, which we tried for 2 years when we were back in Saskatoon. Ended up back in PA in the house that we couldn't sell, that I had so many blood, sweat, and tears over because we couldn't sell it, and financially it was stressful, and then you're managing a rental, and then I got on with SaskPen, and then now here I am in PA, where I said I'd never fucking come back, owning a spin studio that has now launched from just spin into HIIT, into personal training, into nutrition mentorship, into all this shit. So like, anyone that's out there that you feel like you're struggling and the whole world's against you, it's fucking preparing you. It is. And I know 10 years ago, if you would have told me that, I would have told you to fuck off because you're full of shit and your hippie garbage is bullshit. And now here I am saying these words. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck? Like,
it's like hindsight really is 2020.
Oh my God.
When you're in it, you're blind, you're angry, you're frustrated, but when you get to that junction, you're like, holy fucking shit.
Yes.
If I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have done this, I couldn't have got here.
Yes. 100%. 100%. And it's just crazy. And now I kind of sit back and laugh and just go, well, what the fuck's coming down the pipe next? Because I know I'm not ultimately, it sounds maybe a little cocky, not to you, but to me and my, imposter syndrome. Right? I do believe I'm gonna do greater things than what I'm doing right now, and I don't know what that looks like. I joke all the time that I'm gonna be mayor of PA someday.
I'd love it.
Right? I know.
I would love it.
Right? So like, and whether that's it or not or whatever, like I know I'm just getting started in this town. And what it looks like, I don't know, but I know I'm gonna have to go through the ringer a few more times before I get to my ultimate end, whatever that end goal or dream or position or influence is. But I'm here for it now. Because now I understand that, like, hey man, if you can go through the 2 fucking years you did, and if you can get through this inflation recession, if you can do everything you've done up until this fucking point, Des, you can do whatever the fuck is coming your way, and you will persevere it if you choose to. And you know what? I also totally understand other businesses who decided to shut down. I get it, man. I fucking get it. I get it. It's stressful. It's exhausting. It's this and that. I'm just way too fucking stubborn to call it quits before that.
I literally journaled. It's from your class. Oh. You didn't fucking come this far just to come this far. I say that. I have to write that down all the time. I was like, you didn't come this far just to fucking come this far.
Yes.
And like, speaking of your influence, so Des opened the studio before I got into what I'm doing. And I've told you this before, but I used to come to Spin like several times a week, and there'd always be at the reset, these motivational speeches. And I'm like, okay, Kayla, are you fucking doing it or are you not fucking doing it? Like, are you going for it or are you not? And lots of the speeches that you said in that room got me through it. I was like, if Des is doing it, I can do it.
Yes.
So like, your influence isn't just, fitness.
Totally.
Because this was a huge place where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
And like, just even speaking of hippie energy, but like the vibe here is just so high.
It's crazy, man.
So when people come in here, like, this is just, I don't know, you can say physics, but I can't explain it like physics. But when you're in a when you're at the pen, when you're in a low vibrational state, it feels really hopeless.
Yes.
As soon as you pick yourself,
draining.
Yes, and then you went to spin classes, the vibe goes up here. How inspired are you? You have ideas. You're like, life can be good. So it's just the energy alone lets people dream.
Totally.
From their jobs. Like, it's more than just fitness.
Oh, totally. And that's what me and my whole team, who are absolutely fucking incredible, by the way, the 12.
Yeah,
the 12,
I don't know where you find these people, but they're great.
Don't ask me, man. Like, me and Jaylyn were just chatting the other day of like, how the fuck? Jaylyn was like, I don't know where I'd be if I didn't meet you. I don't know what my life would be like if I didn't meet you. And, you know, I say that about every single person. I've learned so much from all these. It's an all-female team right now. I'd like a male instructor back, but all-female team right now. And the amount that I have learned from them, you know, they're always thanking me for everything I do for them. No, they do a million times more for me than that. But they encompass and they embrace everything I stand for. So yes, I am the leader of this place, but if you're not going to follow suit, then it's all for nothing. You know what I mean? And these gals here follow it. And the amount of stories that have come out of this building, like, you know, you get into corrections, let's say, right, brand new rookie correctional officer, I'm going to change the world. Yeah, like that's you all come. Everyone gets into to be a cop because they can do better for the community, right? Yeah. That positive attitude gets broke out of you real fucking quick, and you become a jaded prick very quickly. This business, so for example, fuck man, there's just so much rolling in my head right now. I personally have moved. Okay, first of all, 6 women have come forward in 4 years who have all left abusive partners because of the studio. Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this, Des.
I know, right?
Me cry over here.
I know, right? 6 who have come forward. So maybe there's more out there. Else. Yeah, who, whatever. I have personally, myself, moved 3 of them. I you know, they started opening up and this and that. I have personally brought a truck and a crew and picked up their shit and moved them out of their...
Like physically moved them.
Physically moved them. Like physically moved them. Walked into their fucking house and their shit was packed and I said, we're leaving. And me and my crew rolled in, packed up their shit. Oh my God, Kayla's just crying right here. Don't cry, this is a good thing.
That's so nice.
So there's that. Let alone all the other women who maybe have gained confidence. Yes. You know, maybe they're single, but they've just gained the confidence to believe in themselves a little bit more. Yeah. A handful of people have come forward, much like yourself, and said, I can do better. I don't want to keep grinding the way I'm grinding. Yeah. I want to follow my dream. And they followed their dream. Yes. I have had 2 women come forward, both who have said they had suicide notes written.
Oh, shit.
Found the studio, found their people, found their vibe, blah, 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 blah. You're going to make me cry now.
I'm going to look away.
And so that's, you know, a dozen people whose lives have, you know, not done a 360 because a 360 would imply that you're back to where you started. You know what I mean? But like their lives have gone upside down and backwards in the best way because they found the studio and they found their confidence and the power that myself and this team has and the power that room has. That room, it cannot be described. And so many people walk through my door and try to sell me, oh, do you want to buy a billboard and do radio ads and this and that? So no, because what we do here has to be felt. It cannot be described in words. It cannot be a picture on a billboard. What we do here has to be felt. And there's something about that fucking room that when that door closes and the lights go low and the beats go high, there's been more tears shed like tears, sweat, laughs, cries. I'm not a crier, but I am now because again, like 5 years ago, I wasn't, you know, I'd cry once a year. Yeah. And now, fuck, my team is like, you're just a big softie. Shut the fuck up and whatever. I have cried more in that room because it's so safe. And it is, moral of the story, wrapping back to your comment, it's not fitness. It's not spin. It is so much more than that. And like I tell my team, we don't sell spin here. We don't sell hit here. That's not what we're selling here. That's the added bonus. Can you lose a little bit of weight if you get active? Yes. Can you have healthier joints if you get active? Yes. Can you get all this physiological benefit from working out 100%. To me, that's the bonus. The mental health, the emotional health, all that shit is the bread and butter. Giving people that safe space to be genuinely them. I am authentically, wholeheartedly, genuinely me. And it took me 30 years to really embrace that. And thanks to the studio and all you guys who show up, who buy into my bullshit, right? Like that gives me, holy fuck, I kind of do have some power here, and I can be authentically me and not be penalized or bullied or, for it. It is just this crazy, what the fuck, man? How the fuck is the studio this? Like,
it's
what
crazy.
is
and
even...
literally, like, I can be, like, kind of private and, like, reserved to some degree. I've cried on that bike more times than I can count, and it's honestly something I look for now. I'm like, am I going to cry today? And it feels so good.
Yes.
You're like, yes.
Totally.
Tears were shed. Things happened. It's great.
Yes.
It's so true. And then PA, one of the reasons I think it's such a difficult city is because there isn't a sense of community. Everything is so cliquey and disjointed. And then
we're 10 years behind. We're 10 years behind any other city.
At least 10 years behind on trends and everything. And there's not a lot of there's only chain restaurants. There's nothing quaint or there's just, it's all really not that nice. And then I feel like when you just plopped your light into this town and everyone was like, ooh,
I'm here,
nice.
fuckers.
Yeah. And then it's like, there's a community,
you
know? And I mean, I actually don't even know her first name, but we, every morning, we're here together, spin every morning. And then I seen her at something else and it was like family. She's like, oh my God, you're here. How do you know these people? And I was like,
totally.
It's crazy.
Totally. It is wild, and it's funny that you say that I just kind of plunked in and my light is here.
And people are just gravitated towards ooh.
Totally.
And you created a community.
What is that? Finding Nemo? Ooh, the big light, but then there's that big fucking scary monster behind there. So here's my light, and then there's big scary fucking Des back here, okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I was actually told from several people when I started, and I bring this up a lot because for some reason this one statement just sticks with me. When it was just me and bikes, I was just knocking on fucking doors. Hey, could I do a pop-up spin class here? Restaurants, bars, patios. I was knocking on everyone's door, just fuck it. I'll just plunk in with my speaker and we'll have some fun. I was basically told no from everyone.
Yeah.
But one statement that stuck with me was, your big city ideas will never fly here, quote unquote.
Oh God.
I said, oh. All right, well, I'll go knock on the next door then, and I just kind of carried on and blah, 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 blah. And again, I've said this 100 times in a class or in the spin. Now those motherfuckers are knocking on my door. You know what I mean? So all these people who said, well, that's never going to work, or no, we don't want you here, or whatever. And in their defense, what I'm doing is very new to PA. So I understand the apprehension, but follow your dream, man. What do you got to lose? I'm bringing you people through your door. What does it matter? Well, you know what I mean? And now they're knocking on my door going, well, will you donate to this? And can we do that? And can we collab this? And, I just kind of chuckle a little bit. Yeah. And of course I agree. And, revenge or resentment isn't going to get you fucking anywhere, right? But it's just kind of I walk a little taller. My ego is fueled a little bit on that of well, you told me no once, but sure, come on in and let's do it. And the things we've done around here is crazy. Candle Lake. We were out in Shellbrook this past Friday. Awesome. St. Louis has expressed some interest in me going out there. I'm actually in the school systems running kids programs, not spin, kids programs within a couple of schools one day a week. Again, how the fuck did I end up doing what I'm doing
and
now?
I would be really interested to know if people didn't know who you were in this town. There's probably an undercurrent that has no idea, but I think most people know who the fuck you are.
I get a lot of, hey, you're that spin girl, all the time when I'm out. And for those who don't know, and I don't know, Kayla, if you're going to post a picture or whatever.
I'm going to ask
okay. One, my voice is extremely recognizable. Yeah. So there's, I'm loud and I'm aggressive and my voice is very, my voice when you hear it. For people who don't know who I am, my hair is also wildly colored all the time. It's either bright red, bright purple, bright blue, so I'm always making a statement when I'm out there. And so yes, basically everywhere I go, it's, here's that spin girl, hey, oh my God, or people, hey, Des, da-da-da-da, and I'm like, holy fuck, who are you? Like, is this what being a celebrity is like? Like, I'm a celebrity in PA, this is freaking crazy.
You really are.
Totally, and it's, I forget, like, I post all this shit on social media, and anyone who follows the story knows that I can get ranting about fucking nonsense. Jamie gives me shit all the time. Can you do a point form wrap up when you do these rants? Like, frick, Des. And so, I'll never forget also, I was at a Raider game one night and I met a friend of a friend and I said, oh, hi, I'm Des. And he goes, oh, I know who you are. Oh, okay, super. He was like, I watch your story every day. And then he said, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I click through it because you really get rambling and I just, whatever. And then he proceeded to ramble off everything that I had talked on the story about that day. So, you know what? I put myself out there on social media and I really truly forget that, like, we have over 2,000 followers, which in the social media world isn't that much. In my world, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That people watch this shit. Like, they see my face every fucking day on this social media. And again, I'm just doing it. Everything I do is for me. Like, it's for me, by me. And I really truly forget sometimes that, like, people are watching. And
I feel there's this, so you said something earlier, like, I'm authentically me all the time. I can be me now. And I think you're, like, authenticity for anyone is what sets you free. Authenticity is what attracts people.
100%.
And we're so devoid of it in this society that as soon as you see a glimmer of it, people are like, holy shit.
Yes.
So it's like, taking off the layers and being real, doing things for yourself, and like that's what gets you where you need to be. And I see so many entrepreneurs wanting to start and do this and do that, and then what happens is they're like, well, what do the people want? The people fucking want you.
Yes.
That's it. They just want real, authentic things and people to live from the heart.
Yes.
And that's where the light comes from, and people are like, ooh, it's so nice.
Totally.
Because it's such a rare thing.
Totally. And you know what? A lot of fitness, a lot of other fitness professionals, fitness, like you said, can be very catty, and it can be very intimidating, and it can be very pretentious, and it can be, and so I've really devoted the last little while to changing that narrative of like, no, we're not fucking perfect. Are you kidding me? Like, if you walk into my studio, there's gonna be shit everywhere. Like, look at around you right now, Kayla. Like, but like, it's my business, man. And when I'm selling hundreds of items of merch and this and that, whatever, and over here we've got a pile of stuff that's going to some Ukrainian families that we've collected for, so it's just stuff everywhere. And a lot of other places would just be horrendously offended at that my business would look like this. But at the end of the day, we give so much back to the community, and we do all this stuff. And I think too many people, and I'll talk about maybe spin studios in specific, because that's where really most of my experience is. They get so hung up on trying to be the best and trying to be the cool kids and trying to have the most glorious looking place. And I'm here to tell you that when I started, I had 18 bikes in a dance hall with a fucking rope light on the ground. That is how I started, okay? Like, and exactly, nobody gave a shit, because it's about how I made them feel when they came there. It's about, how they feel walking in, how they feel when they're walking out, how they feel while they're here. Nobody, I saw the other day, and this is across social media lots, at your funeral, nobody's gonna give a fuck what you weighed, what you looked like, what clothes you wear, what brand of clothing you wore, if you wore 725 Originals or Lululemon or fucking, you know what I mean? Like, nobody gives a fuck. No. We all give a fuck when we're alive. But at your funeral, what are people gonna say? And think about a funeral you've been to. It's always, oh my God, remember that time we did these shenanigans. Oh my God, remember that time that I won this award and you were there. Remember that time. And that's what I think fitness in general needs to put their focus into. Because, like, who fucking cares if there's a little nick on the wall or, a pile of shit in the corner over here as I'm pointing over my pile of shit. Like, oh God, frick, that's freaking. And so, again, it's just authentically us, and we're not perfect, and we are not the cool kids. I will fucking tell you, we laugh all the time that this team is just a bunch of duds. We're just a bunch of duds, man. We're a bunch of weirdos. We're a bunch of, you know, we all have a story. We all came from some form of bullshit in our life that we've had to overcome, and we get it. And like, we don't care if you're tall, short, black, white, pink, purple, big, small, two-headed, four-legged. We don't fucking care, man. Come through our door. You don't have to be anyone to be here. You don't, because we are nobodies. My personal Instagram is just some girl. Because that's all I am. You know, people can, you know, sit here and say, well, you're this magnificent light. No, I'm not. I'm just some girl grinding in my journey. You're either going to join me for the ride or get the fuck out of my way, because I'm doing it whether you're here or not.
I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Come along for the ride or get out of the way, because I'm just not interested in being held back anymore.
Nope. Exactly. And so somehow people love this shit.
Yeah, people love it.
Yes. I was just joking with my class this morning, and you know, I call them bitches and fuckers and you know, okay, come on, fuck you guys, come on. And one writer said, oh man, class is never perfect until you tell me to fuck off. I'm like, you know what, bud, my day isn't perfected either until you tell me to fuck off. So you know what, we're just, and not all my instructors are like this. I'm uniquely me on the bike. But yeah, it is, and be you and do you and embrace your weird and be you, because you'll find your people. One big thing that really pisses me off is let's normalize. I hate that statement. Let's normalize this, right? And this is a big thing in social media. Why? Why do we have to normalize it? Yeah. Why can't we be weird and find the other weirdos and let the rest of everyone else be normal? And why can't we go into this dark little corner and be fucking weird? Yeah. Why do we have to normalize everything?
I love that.
Right?
The name of this podcast is literally being extraordinary.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. like you know what I mean? Like, and everyone, there's this big pushback of like anti-societal standards and this and that. Okay, but you guys, like, there needs to be some form of standard, generally speaking. Like there will always be. Mm-hmm. You don't have to conform to that. Yeah. If you're gonna go off the beaten path, you're gonna get questioned, you're gonna get shit on a little bit, you're gonna be this, but if you firmly believe that your weird is what you want to be and your dreams that people are telling you that you'll never fucking achieve, if you wholeheartedly, really, truly, genuinely believe in your soul that you want to do something or be someone or whatever, fucking do it. Mm-hmm. But be prepared for the most stressful, exhausting, liberating, like exciting ride of your fucking life. Because it ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be easy. The easy way out is to be normal. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that either, by the way. A lot of people have great success just going to their 9-to-5 job.
If it makes you feel good and you're enjoying that, then that's where you're meant to be. But if you're not, embrace it.
Exactly.
And get out.
Exactly. I just think, you know, there needs to be a lot more self-reliance. There needs to be a lot more self-responsibility. Don't even get me fucking started on self-responsibility.
It's everything.
It is everything, and yet there's none of it out there.
None.
Everyone needs to point a finger. Well, you offend me, and I don't like that, and you can't do that, and you need to believe this, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you. How about you do a self-check? You believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I want to believe. And if we align and can work together, great. Yeah. And if we don't, let's agree to disagree. Yes. Shake hands and do our own thing. Yeah. If you're not harming another living being by doing what you're doing, then what the fuck does it matter? What does it matter? Yeah. If you're, like you said, if you're happy going to your 9-to-5 job and coming home to your 2 kids and having the same supper every night, 7 days a week, fuck yeah, man, power to you. Yeah. If you don't want that, fuck yeah, power to you, man. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, do you for you and whatever ignites you and makes you happy. And you know, we say be extraordinary. Well, everyone thinks being extraordinary needs to be glitter dusted and shining and sparkling and bright and this and that. No, it doesn't. Exactly. Extraordinary is different for everyone. And if your extraordinary is different than my extraordinary, then great. Some people's extraordinary is just getting up and going to work every day. Honestly. Good for you. Yeah. My extraordinary is getting up and answering 48 fucking emails and text messages from the night before. You know what I mean? And again, it's just your extraordinary is different than mine. Your normal is different than mine. Your weird is different than mine. And that's what's so fucking great about the world and what we need more of. Yes. Period.
That's exactly what I'm trying to capture. Like, what you are is extraordinary. Yes. You just need to embrace what makes you specifically extraordinary.
Yes.
And it's hard because there's no one to look to.
Yes.
Who was your fucking role model when you did this? You had to pave it.
Yes.
You had to pave it.
Yes.
I had to pave it. The other people out there who decided to be themselves and it wasn't the norm, they had to pave it.
Totally.
But then look at the road that you've carved out for other people.
Yes.
Like, somebody has to go first.
Totally.
And we're at the junction where people are being invited. And I feel like a lot of people listening are hearing the call, and it's just fucking time to answer.
Yes.
Whatever the call is, whoever's
ring,
calling.
ring, bitches. Like, pick up. Hello. Exactly. You know, and if you want to pick up that call, and then you decide that call isn't for you and you want to hang up, then hang up.
Exactly.
If another ring comes about and you pick it up and that's your time, then pick it up and go for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and for the record, there's never going to be a right time. Mm-hmm. I opened with $0 in my bank account. Like, literally $0 in my bank account.
I had a mentor in the Akashic Records, and the course that I was going to study through this mentor was $1,000, and that's the limit I had on my credit card. That's how much I had left. Maxed it out. No dollars.
Yes.
No dollars, but I was like, I can't do this.
Yes.
And I did the things. I went to university. I traveled a little bit.
Yep.
I'd done all this stuff, and I was looking at my life. I was like, I'm so miserable.
Yes.
I don't know what else there is. And I was like, how old were you when this happened?
Ring, bitch.
Exactly.
Ring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I was 27 when I was like, oh God, I've tapped out.
30. Yeah. I opened business at 30.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was.
Opened my business later, but I'd realized I was miserable at 27.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, like, this is it?
Yes.
I'm only 27.
Yes. And people forget too, like, everyone's in a hurry.
Yeah.
Well, I have to get married, and I have to have kids, and I have to have a career, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. And I was one of them. I was one of those people that was like, you know, me and Lindy had been together for 4, 5, 6 years, didn't have a ring on my finger, and I was panicking because, again, societal norms is once you're together, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, I'm 34, man. I plan to live to 100, by the way. So
yes.
I have, 66 years left. 66 years.
You're not even halfway. I love it.
What the fuck am I rushing for?
Exactly.
66 years.
And come to think, like, how many productive years have you had? Probably, like, when we're kids, it doesn't count.
Totally.
You're just trying to exist, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it's you know, and what. You know, my parents' big thing, well, you don't have a pension, Who fucking cares? So what, you have a pension, and when you retire, you'll be dead in 5 years, because,
exactly.
And then what, your pension goes to what, me? I don't want your fucking money.
Yeah.
Retire, and use your money for something else. You can't take money to the grave, right?
No, exactly.
And that's very much a statement that broke people say, for the record. You can't take money to the grave, because we're broke.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
You know what I mean? But it's true. It's true. Experiences are so much more valuable in life, and you know, we bitch about being broke and this and that. I have a banging, rocking, dream-filled business, and I have a roof over my head, and I eat every day. And if that money allows me to do that, then everything else is a bonus, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like weirder things have happened. You know, we've both stumbled into money that made no sense, that got us through the hard parts. Like, that's happened to me at least 3 times.
Totally.
In the couple years I've even believed in this. I was just like at my wit's end, and I was like, how am I going to get through this? And it just falls into your lap.
Yes.
So I'm just applying that principle to retirement.
Fuck. For real though, right?
You know what? If you love what you're doing, do you have to retire? Am I going to want to, or am I going to still want to continue to teach and share?
Yes.
Like, exactly. I think I'm going to want to do it forever.
Exactly.
Just a little more freedom, so it's not always.
Yes. You know, if it's self-regulating and fulfilling, we joke all the time that all my instructors on my team, you know, a lot of them have kids. Well, that's the next generation of the studio.
Yeah.
Like,
there you
so
go.
we can all retire old ladies, and your kids can come run the show, and it'll be Auntie Dez's business, but these are gonna run the show. So exactly like you said. Well, what's the rush? Yeah. Why retire? Then what am I gonna do in fucking retirement? Sit at home and be a dud?
I know, because we're having fun with what we're doing now,
totally.
Right? Like, I do want to travel more.
Totally.
But I mean, maybe there's opportunities to do that for work. Like,
yes.
You never know.
Yes.
The world's at a strange place of change.
Yes.
So God knows what will be happening when we're that like that.
Change is literally the only constant in life.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the only thing. There's 3 things guaranteed in life. 2 things guaranteed in life: change and death.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's so
That's
true.
it. That's it. Everything else, we don't have fucking, it's just shit. It's just shit that we go through. It's just experiences that we have. When you're born, death, that's your guaranteed in life, that you will someday die.
Yep.
So, me and Steph were talking the other day, on your tombstone, there's birth date, death date, and there's the dash in between. Yeah. Well, what the fuck are you going to do with your dash?
Ooh, I like that.
What you going to do with your dash?
Yeah.
And I told her, after we were talking about this, I said, I'm going to put a real small 1988 and a real small death date, and I want my dash to be like a big chunk of a rectangle.
Yes.
Because that's my dash is big. It's in your face, and I'm making my dash fucking count, period.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And we just take everything too seriously, because I also believe it's just an experience. Make it what you want.
Yes.
So Des, I want to thank you. That was amazing. You delivered times 1,000.
Yay!
So if people want to see more of you, how do they find you?
So they can follow me, or the studio, I guess I should say. That's really where I post mostly everything. So it's just the.studio.pa on Facebook, Instagram. Studio, I'm gonna fuck you all up real bad though. It's spelled S2DIO. I'll
drop it in the notes.
Perfect. So you can find me there. You can find me on TikTok, Des from the studio. If you ask anyone, if you will find me. Okay, people don't need to look for me. If you want to find me, you'll find me. You can come watch the shenanigans and the antics and the bullshit and the good and the bad and the ugly, and it's quite a ride. Yep.
Yes.
Or come in. If you're in PA, come into the shop. If spin isn't your jam, fuck it. Come have coffee with me. I don't care.
And trust me, if spin's not your jam and you haven't actually tried it, you need to come to a studio spin class, because I would have told you I fucking hated cardio.
Yep.
I didn't want to do it. And then I got to the spin studio and it's like a fucking party in there.
Totally.
It's just a party.
Totally.
So it's quite fun. And the lights are low, which is a fun time.
Yes.
Which I really appreciate that. Because I usually come at 6 a.m. So it's just like, the dark lights really help.
Yes. Yeah, it's dark, low lights, high beats, high vibes. Get the fuck out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Des.
Thank you.